Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to, I think this is going to be my mid-monthly wrap-up. Which, I don't know, it's the 23rd, so this is probably a little bit late, but in case you haven't noticed, I haven't actually uploaded anything in several weeks. My life is crazy right now. We've been slammed with a lot of different things all at once. We've had a lot of visitors on the weekends, so that's when I film, and I just haven't had the time or the energy to do it throughout the week. But I had to do my makeup for work today, and instead of letting that go to waste, I had a couple of unboxings to do, and instead of just making that be the whole video, I'm going to do my mid-monthly wrap-up while I'm at it. We started this month slumping fairly hard. I was not feeling what I was feeling. I think I gave myself a little bit of fantasy burnout. Also, when I have like anxiety, my tendency is to just gravitate towards romance. So you will notice in the books that I talk about today, I think that they are exclusively romance, which is good. It's a fun time. It's getting me back into the groove of reading instead of like not reading. I was maybe reading like a chapter a night before bed, and that's all that I had the motivation to do. It's doing better now by a lot. So yeah, let's jump into the unboxings first. So the first of the unboxings is actually FAIRYLOOT's May adult book box. This is the book only, which is why this is only going to take like 2 seconds to do, hence why it's the start of this video. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So pop it open. They have less paper squigglies, that's a bonus. And the theme is Into the Shadows. I already know what this book is going to be, so this is not much of a surprise for me. I will pull this out. Okay, I don't know what the customizations are on this though, so I'm gonna try and pull this out. I think maybe this way. This way? We'll see. There it is. Okay, so it's The Book of Night by Holly Black. This is stunning. It's solid black. It's got solid black sprayed edges as well. That's so pretty. We've got art on the end papers. And oh my god, this naked hardcover. Can we just look at how beautiful that is? That is absolutely stunning. And I think it's signed. I would assume it's signed. I mean, I think that's her signature at the bottom. I really can't tell though. So yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Our featured book of the month is Book of the Night by Holly Black, the first book in a duology that follows a girl with a shriveled cherry pit for a heart thrown into a maelstrom of secrets in a world where shadows can be stolen. Perfect for readers that love sinister shadows, secret societies, murder, and thieves. This exclusive edition comes with an exclusive cover, sprayed edges, artwork on the end papers, a design printed onto the hardcover with foil details, a ribbon bookmark, a digital signature, and bonus content. So it's a digital signature, that's why it looked a little bit weird. And then there is the ribbon bookmark, which was tucked in there pretty tightly. So we'll set that right up there. Next, I actually have my Hello Lovely rep package. This is, I believe, the April trope of the month box. I don't know what the trope was. I don't know what the book is. This one is going to be completely a surprise for me. So, okay, it's very safely packaged in bubble wrap, which I will skip over to save your ears. I just quickly skimmed over the back. I think that the trope of April was age gap. I'm pretty sure May's trope is mafia romance. I will have to go and check on that to be sure. But I think that this is age gap romance. So this is A Nordic King by Karina Hale. Okay, looks like this. And the back looks like that. It comes with an exclusive bookmark, which says, "What a rare and beautiful thing you are." It's a quote from the book because it has the author's name on there, and it's signed. So, this is a special edition, and let's do the synopsis real quick. A widowed father of 2 little girls, the beautiful nanny he's hired to raise them, a forbidden romance unlike any other. When I first applied for the job, I thought it would be like all the others, working as a nanny for an aristocratic family. Then I got the job and found out how wrong I was. Now I'm the new nanny for 2 adorable little girls who happen to be princesses. Their father is the widowed king of Denmark, and my new home, the royal palace in Copenhagen. Adjusting to my new life isn't easy, but the hardest part hasn't been the girls who still grieve over the loss of their mother. It's their father, cold, mysterious, and moody, with an icy stare that seems to penetrate your soul. King Axel may have hired me to take care of his daughters, but he wants as little to do with me as possible. Yet the longer I share these palace walls with this man, the more that I'm drawn to him. His chiseled face and sexual swagger are only part of the package. It's in the long, intense glances at the dinner table, the way we'll brush up against each other in the halls, the rare glimpses of the man deep inside, just like the sun passing through the clouds. But no matter how I feel about him, we can never be together. You think it's bad enough being in love with your boss? try falling in love with a king. So that, I love palace romances. I have not historically been very into Age Gap, but obviously I'm gonna give it a chance. We'll see how it goes. So that was my 2 unboxings, and now I'm gonna do a quick run through all of the books that I've read so far in May and what I'm currently in the middle of. First off, I am still in the middle of Children of Ragnarok by Cinda Williams-Chima. This is not in any way a knock against that book that it's taken me so long, but like I talked about earlier, I'm just in a fantasy burnout, and I don't know, I haven't been in the mood for it, and I just kind of set it to the side for now because I don't want to give it an unfair chance when it's definitely me and it's not the book. So that's my honorable mention, and then I'll get to the other book that I'm currently in the middle of later on, just because it's a part of a series. So other than that, the first book that I picked up this month is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. You guys, this is the sequel to The Love Hypothesis. I was fortunate enough to grab an arc of this off of NetGalley, and when I tell you how excited I was for this book, I don't have any words. I blew through it in about 2 days, and it was delightful. I think this could be wrong. I might like it more than The Love Hypothesis. I don't know if that's sacrilege or not, but it was so good. The whole NASA aspect, it was kind of still an enemies to lovers romance, but Levi and Bee they were so precious. I loved their relationship the entire time. I loved how supportive they were of each other. It was great. I gave it 5 stars. It's not out for a little bit. I'm not going to say any more about it than that. I don't really want to get too into it. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Next up was another arc for me, and it's Grace Under Fire by Julie Garwood. Julie Garwood is a romantic suspense author that I've been reading for years. I've been picking up her books at like library sales and garage sales and all of that stuff for as long as I can remember, and usually I have a really good time with them. That wasn't necessarily the case with this one. It was another romantic suspense. I think that the main character's name was Grace, and she is a person who just graduated high school. She graduated college, and she's not really sure what she wants to do with her life. And when her friends go out to celebrate graduating, she ends up doing an open mic night, and she blows everybody away with the way that she sings. She ends up going viral. But at the same time, she's also dealing with, she's inherited like a patch of land in Scotland because her family is like ancestrally from there, and she's trying to figure out what to do with it. She wants to sell it because that side of her family did not treat her and her sisters very well. And so she's trying to figure out all of that. She's visiting Boston. I think it's for a family get-together for her sister's husband's family, like her brother-in-law's family. She gets distracted, I guess, as she's like walking through the streets, and somebody ends up she hears gunshots, and then somebody runs at her who has been shot, and then she saves his life, and then she's trying to figure out why this person was after her. It's a whole thing. She ends up falling for her brother-in-law's brother, Michael. I just didn't like her. She spent the entire book with her head in the clouds, and not in like an endearing way, in like she kept yelling at people for calling her innocent and naive kind of way, but honestly it just came off as really annoying because she was exactly what they said to her. She was just not a relatable or very good character at all. Michael was entertaining. I really enjoyed his perspective, but like other than that, it got 3 stars. I didn't really love it. This was another arc that I had off of NetGalley that I'd been really looking forward to, and it kind of fell flat for me. After that was another arc that I had off of NetGalley. Guys, I've been blowing through my romance arcs because that's all that I've been feeling reading lately. So I picked up Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. I don't remember the characters' names of this right off the top of my head. Both of the love interests are black. He is an NFL pro football player, but in his off season, well, I guess all the time, but like specifically in his off season, he focuses on managing a cupcake bakery that he owns with 2 of his teammates, and they are just trying to make their little cupcakery take off, when one day the girl waltzes in and she's like insulting the entire bakery. She's never been in there before, but she's like insulting the atmosphere. She's saying the cupcakes are probably stale. He makes her eat one, and she realizes she likes them after all, and through random circumstances that I will let you discover, she ends up actually working in this bakery for him and doing a really great job. She ends up doing like a lot of the PR and like, not social media, but she pulls in a lot more business by like organizing events there and stuff. And they fall in love along the way. It was super cute, and I really liked it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I don't really know what else to say about it though. It was a fun time. It was adorable. It had its steamy moments. Next up is, I don't have the copy of it to show you because I already gave it back to my coworker, but I finally picked up All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. You guys, if you don't pick up any of her new releases, pick up this one. I think I don't know that it blows wait for it out of the water for me, but it was really, really, really good. It's definitely in my top 5 Mariana Zapata books. I just loved it so much. So you follow Aurora, who is trying to figure out her life after it kind of all went to shit. She was previously a songwriter, but not like officially a songwriter. You'll find out the circumstances of her story as the book goes on. I don't want to spoil any of that, but her previous life in Nashville has kind of fallen apart, so she's trying to find herself again. And she ends up going to, I think it's called Pagosa, Colorado? Maybe Colorado? I think it's Colorado. It's somewhere in the Midwest that's very mountainous with lots of hiking trails, and I want to say it's Colorado. So she ends up there, which is actually where she spent a lot of her childhood growing up with her mother, and she's just trying to revisit her roots and, you know, kind of figure her life out in a place that is somewhat familiar to her. So she reconnects with some old friends, and she has rented a garage apartment. But when she gets to that garage apartment, somebody walks in, this gigantic, very, very handsome man walks in and thinks that she's robbing him. Turns out his teenage son rented this on like an Airbnb type website without consulting him, and she manages to talk him into letting her stay anyway, and things develop from there. It's an absolutely precious relationship. Rhodes is one of my favorite male leads in a romance novel that I've had in a long time. Mariana Zapata does such a good job. This is a fault in some of her books, but it really worked for her here, where she does only do the single perspective and you only get Aurora's point of view through the whole thing, but she's so good at making Rhodes so expressive that you know what's going through his head the entire time. And it just really, really worked. The whole story was amazing. It had its steamy moments, but it had that slow burn that she's so well known for. It got 5 out of 5 stars for me. I need to go and get a copy of it myself because I loved it that much. But that does lead me into Hands Down by Mariana Zapata, which was the next book that I read, which was, for anybody that read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, this is Zach's story, the quarterback from the 300s that was living with Aiden. This is Zach's story after he's gone back to Texas after he got released from that football team, and he kind of reconnects with somebody from his past. Obviously, again, you only get her point of view. Let me rephrase the noise that I just made. I still really enjoyed it. I've loved everything that I've ever read by her, so that was no different from this. However, this is one of her books that I think was probably not served as well by only having one point of view. I just feel like it would have been so much better had we gotten to know what Zach was thinking through a lot of it, because you really just don't get any of the, I don't know, the emotions that you see with Rhodes, that it just kind of didn't serve this plot line as well. But I still enjoyed it. I liked the storyline. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted the ending of it to be. I wanted more of them together, and I just didn't feel like it was that way. But the social media aspect of it, so the main female lead, whose name is escaping me right now, I'm sorry guys, I don't know why I'm struggling with this so hard. She is actually a fairly successful YouTuber. They don't call it that on there, but she is a YouTuber. She has a baking show essentially called The Lazy Baker. She makes things with like, I want to say like 5 ingredients or less, and very short and quick and easy things. But her thing is that she creates these recipes almost on the spot, and whether it fails or succeeds, that's kind of the excitement of the episodes that she puts up. And so she's trying to make a full-time living out of this, and that's what's motivating her. And she, like I said, meets up with Zach. They're childhood best friends. Her cousin is actually his best friend, but she tagged along, and they had lost touch for a really long time. And it was sweet. I enjoyed it, but I did only give it 4 stars, and I didn't give it 5 stars like Rhodes. Next up, we went into my sports romance phase. So I read both Jock Rule and Jock Rule by Sarah Ney. I finally read both of these, and I enjoyed both of them immensely. So Jock Rule is about Scarlett, who is kind of known as the sensible one of her friends, but honestly, you get that in the first party that she goes to, but you don't really get that out of her for the rest of it. I mean, she's sensible in like a normal way, not sensible in like a Debbie Downer kind of way, which is what they make it seem like it is. But anyway, she goes to this party with her friends, dressed in apparently an ugly sweater. She's blocking the baseball players' attempts to hit on her friends because they're blatantly lying to them and taking advantage of that. And so they kick her out of the house. The captain ends up kicking her out of the house, and his name is Rowdy Wade, except his name is not actually Rowdy. I don't remember what his real name is. She kind of switches between them the whole time. So he goes and he kicks her out, and they sit on the porch and talk all night long because she refuses to leave. And then the next weekend, they do it again. He won't let her into the house, so she just sits out there with him, and they talk for hours and hours and hours. And this continues for a few more weeks until finally they move into the realm of real dating, and it was just sweet. It was really fun. There was no miscommunication, there was no cheating, there was no thoughts of cheating. It was just really, really sweet, and I think that that's what I'm going to like most about these books. I don't know if they're all like that, but the first two have been, and I've really enjoyed that. Now, I will say, for both of these that I've read, I have seen some continuity, grammatical issue, errors. It's not enough to make me absolutely hate it. It is stuff that I think probably should have been caught in editing, so I did end up giving both of these to a 4 stars instead of a full 5, but the emotions that I felt were definitely 5-star worthy. That really kind of brought the experience down just a little bit for me, but I still liked it. I think that I'll definitely come back and revisit these and read them again in the future. The storyline was so precious, and steam level's pretty good too, honestly, in both of these. But I keep saying both of these, let me move on to Jock Rule really quick. So Jock Rule is about Kip and Teddy. So Kip is on the rugby team. He's like this very large, big, bearded, long-haired with a man bun kind of guy. Teddy is somebody who is very easily walked all over, and she spends a lot of her time going to these parties and just ends up hanging out by the keg, and some of those times ends up being the one that serves beer to all of these people because somebody hands her the hose and she doesn't know what to do with herself, so she just stands there all night. And he gets fed up with watching her friends walk all over her, and like anytime a guy tries to hit on her, they'll come up and intervene and that kind of a thing. So he gets fed up with that, and one night ends up saving her from a big fight that breaks out in the middle of this party and takes her home with him, and they just sleep, but nothing happens. But a friendship develops from there, and he becomes really protective of her in that he's going to teach her to stop letting people take advantage of her, I guess. That doesn't really last very long because he starts to develop feelings for her. This one was a little bit less enjoyable for me than Jock Rule. Just their relationship was still really cute. The friendship development was really, really cute, but it just moved very, very quickly. And the way that certain characters reacted to certain things really irritated me. I think that it was a little bit over dramatized, so I didn't like it quite as much. And again, a couple of continuity and spelling errors that really just bothered me that absolutely should have been caught in editing. So again, another 4 stars, but I still really liked it, and I'm going to move on with the rest of the series. Alright, so we're almost to the end. I've got 3 more books to talk about. I've been very busy with romances this month, in case you couldn't tell. Next is Starry-Eyed Love by Helena Hunting. I just finished this, I think I started and finished it yesterday. This was another arc that I had received off of NetGalley. So in Starry-Eyed Love, I think this is the second of 2 books. I haven't read the first one, but I know that it's out there. But this is the arc that I got. So the first one is London, and London Spark is one of 3 sisters. They all own a family, like generational family inn called Spark House that they're trying to bring a lot of events to and notoriety to and make it more of a boutique hotel than just like your roadside inn. And because of this, they come to the attention of a company, I don't remember exactly, Holt Media, I think, who is trying to bring them into a team that kind of connects sponsors with other businesses. I don't really know how else to phrase it. And because of this, she meets the CEO, Jackson Holt, who just so happens to be a man that hit on her in a bar 3 months previously that she turned down because she had just been in a relationship with somebody else that had ended badly, and she wasn't ready yet, and she turns him down, doesn't take his number, and he walks away, and he's all sad about it, and they walk back into each other's lives when she's trying to present why Spark House would be a good fit for this team initiative that they're trying to do. And things go from there. It was good. I loved that the jealousy arc did not turn into woman on woman. Instead, it turned into I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but just know that there is like a jealousy kind of arc where she's jealous of another woman, and it doesn't turn into the way that you think it's going to end. Like, she's not yelling at her for being a homewrecker. They really don't end up blaming each other too badly in that way. They come to an understanding, and it was so refreshing. I don't know why it needed to be so refreshing in that manner, but it really was, and I really enjoyed it. And Starry-Eyed Love ended up getting a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I really enjoyed that one. So the last 2 books that I need to talk about are in the same series, the first of which is Sugar Rush by Tracy Ward. You've heard me talk about Sugar Rush before. I've read a couple of her sports romances. So technically Sugar Rush is the second book. I got a sense of deja vu, so I'm pretty sure I've read this book before. It's a romance between Colt Avery, who is a running back for the football team, the Los Angeles Kodiaks, and Lily, who owns her own bakery with one of her best friends in the entire world. She gets hired to cater an gender reveal, I think, for one of the coaches on the team, and they kind of run into each other when he tries to bribe her into telling what the gender of the baby is so that he can win the betting pool. She says no, she turns him down, and he just can't stop coming around her bakery and being around her. It was super adorable. I loved this. There was just so much chemistry between them. It was so sweet. Their whole relationship was absolutely adorable. There was a couple of things in the end that they kind of leaned a little bit too heavy on, like her past trauma and her running away from it, but I still really enjoyed it, and you'll understand what I mean when you read it. But it was good. I gave it a 5 stars. I really, really loved it. I am 99% sure I've read that book before, and I just didn't remember it. I had a lot of deja vu. But that leads me into the book that I am in the middle of reading right now, which is Wide Open, I think, which is the 3rd book, which follows Curtis Matthews, who is kind of the recluse of the team. He's got a big secret that we're in the middle of trying to find out what it is, but apparently after a very stellar rookie year with this football team, he mysteriously got traded to Montana, where he was benched for 2 years, and they got him back in LA after that, and we are trying to find out what happened to him. And he's falling in love with Harper, who is, I think, the producer of a documentary that is being done on the football team, and she's got some stuff going on in her past too, and I'm very, very, very into this book. So that's all that I have to say about that. But yeah, we've had a very productive romance reading month, and an absolutely unproductive reading month in any other genre. Obviously, I don't have any stars for Wide Open yet. However, I hadn't really gotten much of a character from Curtis Matthews in previous books, and you're really getting his character now because you have a perspective from his point of view, and I'm really, really enjoying that. So I have no doubt that I'm going to love it, just like I liked all of the other books that I've read by her so far. Tracy Ward is really rapidly becoming one of my favorite, like, KU authors. Everything that I've read by her, I've really enjoyed. So yeah, that's my unboxing. That is my mid-month, slightly late wrap-up, and I don't know, guys. This is the first video that I've filmed in a while, so it's a little bit lengthier than I wanted, but I don't know that we're going to call this my official return, but I am going to try to get back on schedule, considering my 2-year anniversary on BookTube is actually this week, which is crazy to me. I can't believe that it's been that long. I guess that's the end of this, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. While you're down there, go check out my description box for a rep code for Hello Lovely. It'll get you 15% off of your order. Underneath that are links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram, in case you guys wanted to follow me on any of those. But that's it for me today, guys, so I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye!